It's time for connection of the mind, body, and emotions. Welcome to a place where you can unplug, tune in, and create. It's time for Conjuring the Human Spirit with your hosts, Allison Parplasha and Shawn Meeks. You're invited. Let's begin.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Conjuring the Human Spirit. My name is Shawn Meeks, and I'm joined by beautiful Allison Parplasha.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We're practicing what we're preaching in that, one of our latest episodes was one big juicy experiment. We are actually encountering this podcast in a new way. So we're experimenting. So it's actually 8:15 p.m. on the farm. Normally, we kind of hit the deck running around 1, 2 o'clock. We all connected beautifully for way too long in Shawn and Jeff's gorgeous pool. And then I'll have Shawn talk a little bit about, he led us in ceremony as a way of connecting. We had a beautiful snack, we had dinner, and so we're just sitting down now and curious.
Right, like in a food coma.
Absolutely. So we're curious about just the impact, right? Like we're doing this in a different way. It's an experiment. It might land, it might not land.
Well, the good news is, seemingly, Allison, I'm getting a lot of great feedback on the podcast, and I know you have been too. Interestingly enough, though, people are having a difficult time finding us, and I don't know why. We're on every platform, so it's not hard. I send YouTube links to anyone who asks, but we're on Spotify and Apple Music, and anywhere your podcast can be played, we're there. So if you're enjoying what you're hearing, please tell your friends how easy it is to just type in Conjuring the Human Spirit, and there we are. So, and here I am in my food coma with you talking about, let's call it maybe life on life's terms, or what are we going to call it?
When life happens?
When life happens, yeah. Life, as a friend of mine, Dorian says, life keeps on lifing, you know?
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. And life has been lifing. Tell me how life's been lifing for you, Allison.
I mean, if you just look at this morning, my intention was to get here early. Shawn and I talk frequently, but we definitely talk for sure at least an hour a week, and we had just missed that. So I decided to hop in my car several hours earlier, was on the road by 7 a.m., and I was probably 15 miles from the farm, and I got pulled over by a police officer when I was talking to my sister on the phone. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting pulled over because I'm on the phone. But anyway, the police officer, he could not have been kinder, but I am still new to the South. And this poor soul, he was trying to explain to me why he pulled me over. And I'm like, I am so sorry, sir, but I can't understand what you're saying. Can you say that again? And the poor guy had to say it 3 times until I finally understood, no, I was getting pulled over for speeding. But he was gracious, and he did not let me off completely, but I did not get points on my license. Apparently, I was going a lot faster than I thought. So that was just my first experience already on the way here.
So what does that mean? So we're talking about when life happens, and you got pulled over, and there's so many different layers to that, right? Why'd you get pulled over? You really didn't know, and then you were speeding, and then you couldn't understand him, and then you made this poor fellow repeat himself in his own hometown because the girl from the north couldn't understand. And what does that mean? Did it mean anything other than getting pulled over?
I mean, it was twofold. Like, there was a part of me that was excited. I'm like,
What?
She's back. Because, prior to my initiation in one of the episodes, I mean, I just was kind of crazy and, going from here to there. And something that I have really struggled with is fatigue. And I did not have fatigue today. And there was something about like, all right, she's going fast. She's not paying attention. She's having a good time. And then, of course, there was a part of me, I'm like, okay, is there another message that goes along with probably a very expensive ticket? And, there was something about mindfulness and slowing down and paying attention.
Well, it seems like that's what you've been doing, right? With this With your initiation, with the medical journey you've been on, it's been calling you to slow down. So good for you for going fast, even if you
Right?
you had to
I was kind
pay.
of proud of
Oh,
myself.
when I used to drink, it was like I would go fast and and I would say to Jeff, "This is the price I'm willing to pay to go the speed I want to go."
That's right.
Now, how ignorant is that?
I know.
Really? But it's interesting because life does keep a life in, and we were talking earlier about being meaning machines, meaning making
Meaning mistake.
machines.
Yes.
And I don't know if you guys are out there being meaning making machines, and by that is she gets a ticket, and what does it mean? I mean, to every normal human being, it would just mean getting a ticket, but.
But for
her,
us,
for her, we sat and said, "What does it really mean?"
exactly. What's the message? What am I supposed to get? But there was also like I'm gonna, again, it felt there was something kind of thrilling, but I was also like holding a tremendous amount of gratitude for this officer of just how scary it must be to be a police officer, and he was so kind. And he did let me off, by the way. Like I could have he could have done damage to.
Well, in Georgia, we have super speeder
Right?
tickets.
I never. I'm a super speeder.
You
Everyone.
are. You're bad,
I'm a
bad
super
girl.
speeder. Ooh, ooh. Feels kind of good.
What's interesting is, so I'm tell. Let me pick the story up from here. So, I slept in this morning, and I got up and turned on my phone at 9 o'clock, like I do, and there was a message from Allison saying, "I'll be there in 40 minutes." She said, "I'll be there at 9:40." I was like, "Oh!" So I'm having my coffee, and she pulls into the driveway 40 minutes later, and she has a dog.
So my adventure continued after my police officer incident, literally like maybe 5 minutes later. And here I am driving, being mindful of the speed, and who is in front of me but a very speedy, sweet, angelic puppy dog. I don't know. Was that a puppy or a
Kind of a
dog?
mix in between. I think it was a dog, but it was.
I mean, it
I
was
mean, it
like,
had the shiniest black coat and the
yeah.
floppiest ears, but its tail was cropped like a bird dog, and it had a collar on it. And Allison wanted to steal it and take it back
No,
to
that's
Savannah.
not true. So I just opened the door thinking I would find its rightful owners, and it hops right into the car and then hops into my lap and is licking me and is sweet. And so then I start going to the neighbors. So the super speeder took the
The
super
criminal
speedy
is
energy.
knocking on doors.
And then I was like, should I be knocking on doors like in rural Georgia? Like, is this safe? But again, like the police officer, I just kept meeting one kind person after the next, but not the rightful owner. So I brought the dog to Shawn's.
She did. She gets out, and this dog. I already have two critters, and they clocked that dog in a second. And so now my dogs are frantically barking at the door, and this cute dog could care less, and is just a boop 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 boop. And I'm
Ready
looking at
to move
Allison
in.
like, "What do you want me to do with this dog?" Like, she's like, "Can I take it home?" I go, "No, that would be stealing. You can't. This is somebody's critter. You've got to take it back." But I don't want to dump it. I say, "You won't be dumping it if you take it back to the place where you found it."
Well, and what you have educated me on, because one of the things we were talking about earlier today too is just, in a lot of ways the South, it's just like a different country for me. And there's kind of the rules of the road, no pun intended. But one of them is a lot of individuals in this area let their dogs run. And so I probably was doing a disservice by letting it in the car and taking it away from perhaps its own neighborhood.
Yeah, I think as city people who grow up, when the dog gets out, then we feel like, oh, somebody's missing that dog. And same thing happened to me when we first bought the farm. It was a beautiful boxer. I wanted to keep it too. It was so friendly. It was a perfect farm dog, but it had a collar and a rabies. I tracked down the owner. The owner got here finally to pick it up. And as he was leaving, he rolled down the window and he said, "By the way, I let my dog run, so you're probably going to see the dog again." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I just wanted to make sure the dog was okay. But it's interesting. We're talking about meaning-making machines.
Sure.
Life and life happening, and why did you get a ticket? And it's interesting that, you were slowed down. You said maybe to be shown to slow down again, to be more mindful. And you slowed down enough to get a ticket and ask this guy to repeat himself 3 times, such that it was in direct alignment to you reaching this puppy and meeting this puppy. And, and doing that was kind of a gift to you.
Well, and so I did take the dog back to the original area, and then I look in my rearview mirror and it's following me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. So I went to another actually really nice home, and, I was like, are you the owner? And this lovely elderly man came out, and he was having a hard time hearing me, but then like once he got close to me, he's like, I'm like, do you think you could take the dog? Or, like, I don't know what to do. I live in Savannah. And he's like, yeah, I can't take this dog. I already have my dog. And then like 1 minute later, he's like, well, my wife's at church. I can hold on to the dog. I have a pen. And then my wife can actually get on the Facebook dog lost place or whatever that is, and hopefully find its rightful owner. But I could tell he had such beautiful energy that if they don't find the owner, like he would take beautiful care of this dog. And there was just something about meeting your neighbors and just like the kindness. I think that was like a lesson of there was just such kindness from everybody I met today, wanting to help, but couldn't help, but really, really sweet. And then there was something about this dog, with my initiation prior, like I often felt this, I've talked about it in prior episodes, like my heart was really open. I could feel spirit. And, because of everything I've gone through, I just haven't felt that sensation. There was something about this dog in my lap and licking me and being so sweet and so kind and so attentive and a good listener. It really like opened up my heart. And I'm still feeling the resonance of that today. There was just something really beautiful about this dog.
There is a reason why dog is spelled D-O-G, and it's God backwards. And that's love, right? God is love. And certainly love resonates from the spirit of a dog. And I'm glad that it was meaningful to you,
Well, and what was really powerful, too, is that, I said a prayer to Mother Mary on the way there, just asking for her intercession that we connect this dog to its rightful owner. And, it didn't go exactly as planned. It wasn't the rightful owner, but maybe it was the rightful owner because, this gentleman was so kind-hearted and had just a beautiful spirit. So I was so grateful for...
Yeah, but tell the truth, Allison. Are you going to stop back at this man's house on the way home to Savannah?
Maybe. I know. No, we already have 2 huge dogs and a cat. And big vet bills. So, yeah, we'll see.
The beauty of living here at the farm is we engage with animals all the time, like it or not, and we've got 41 acres here. People ask if we're going to have any farm animals, and I said we've got plenty of animals of which we don't really have to care for. They just kind of wander into our lives, and we get to be part of the environment. It's like being just an animal sharing this. We're a mammal, right? Sharing this land with these other animals, and it's interesting how life kind of happens and how life keeps life in. Just being on the mower a few months ago, it was during the workshop, and there was a dead turtle that I hit with the mower. And it was the same thing that you went through today, like slow down. And I was like, slow down, Shawn, take a breath, watch where you're going, slow the mower down, be present, be mindful in the moment. And in the next moment, there was a deer antler in front of me, and I have it in my hand right now, and I carried it into that workshop that weekend. It was just so beautiful to be reminded to slow down so that I could find the antler. And again, a meaning-making machine. What does that mean? And wondering out there who all are listening, are you making meaning of things that are happening in your life? Or are things just happening? Are you being proactively looking at things? Or are you being reactive to what's happening? Are you listening? Are you listening deeply and then making adjustments accordingly?
Yeah. And tell the story about last night.
I'm going to tell a story about the whole week.
Okay. Let's do
It's
it.
been a heck of a week. It's a bit of a sad story, and and it's again life on life's terms. Life keeps a life, and we have our hands full here at the farm. Someone thought it was a good idea to drop a cat off here. It was a kind of a kitten in between. We didn't know if it was a boy or a girl because it wasn't old enough to tell, and no one was happy with this cat. We weren't happy because we don't know anything about cats, except they needed to be cared for. And the barn swallows weren't happy. They were dipping down and attacking the cat at every level. It's so interesting that nature knows that cat is a prowler, and it's going to get up at their nest if it has the opportunity. Because, my dogs can wander around here. They don't care anything about it, but they were dive bombing this cat. And then the cat was living in like this adjacent bush. And then suddenly it decided to go over where Mr. Bunny lived. Well, Mr. Bunny lives in this bush and is raising its family in the bush, and I see it coming out or whatever. Well, when Mr. Cat, Shadow, we named him, Shadow goes over and decides it's going to live in this bush, the bunny goes bouncing off toward the barn. Well, the next morning, I go back to the cabin, and I come around the corner, and there's Mr. Bunny like 8 feet from me, and we lock eyes. And I'm like, and all the bunny said to me with those eyes was, "Listen, we need to talk about this cat." And I'm like, I know. I am so sorry that the cat has invaded in your home. So nobody was really happy with the cat up here. The dogs were chasing it. The cat was running up in the trees. It was just not a good situation. We have a barn, so I thought it can be a barn cat. And so we put the cat back there in the barn with an electric feeder and water and got it play toys and pillows and all of that. And Jeff my husband called it Meow Hiss, because all that cat did was meow, and then when you came toward it, hiss at you, and it wouldn't let you touch it, wouldn't let anything like that happen. And, to be sweet, like a domesticated cat. Mm-hmm. Well, the cat disappeared. It disappeared for about 4 days last week. And I knew it disappeared because that critter loves cat food. And the cat food was piling up in his bowl. And I didn't know what had happened to the cat. So I was wondering about this cat. So again, life keeps happening in these meaning-making machines. Why did this cat show up to begin with? And what did it mean? And I've really been playing with the idea of shadow. Shadow in my life. I don't know if you guys out there know what shadow is. And I'm still learning more about the shadow. But Carl Jung talks about the shadow. And this is the side of us that we're really trying to push away, that nobody knows about us but ourselves, and that we're really trying to hide from everyone. But the reality is we need to embrace our shadow. And so when this cat showed up, and it was at nighttime only, and it would only come out at night, and I'm thinking about my shadow and how can I integrate that into my being so that I can be real with all of you here on the microphone, real with all of you when you come to our workshops, and more real and resonant in my own life. The cat got named Shadow. And so every time I saw the cat, I was thinking about shadow, my shadow, and how am I engaging with it?
Like a reminder, yeah.
Interestingly enough, I have a psychic friend. His name's Aaron Finn. He's awesome. He's in Atlanta. He gives me a reading once a year, and Aaron's a pet psychic also, and he was giving me my reading, and then we had some extra time left, and I said, "Can you tell me about Shadow? What's going on with Shadow? Is he happy to be here? What's happening with him?" And he was in the zone, Aaron was, and he just dismissed me with kindness, but he just said, "Shadow is here for a short period of time as a teacher for you." And that was it. And then he started talking more about the rest of the year and what I can expect and whatever. And that's the perspective I was holding Shadow. Like, how are you here as a teacher for me? Mm-hmm. So long story longer, Shadow comes back and the food is gone. And I see him in the barn, and he's chilling on these beautiful pillows we have in the tent where we do ceremony for the magic of listening. And he's relaxing in there, and I go in there, and he's not skittish at all. He doesn't hiss at me, and I'm thinking, listen, I bet he's been out there in the woods. It's been tough.
Yeah.
And now he's like, bro,
Yeah.
I'm living for this tent.
That's right.
I'm living for
These
the
pillows.
pillow and the food dispenser, and I'm so glad to be back. And so he and I sat together for a moment, which again is profound in that sitting with my shadow
Wow.
for a moment,
Yeah.
And so Shadow wandered up and made his way up to the house, and he wasn't doing well. Something had happened while he was out for 4 days, and he got so bad that Jeff was able to even pick him up. And of course, it was 4th of July, and on the day, so no vet was open, and I texted the vet, and he didn't text me back. I don't know anything about cats. What's happening? What's happening? And I said to Jeff, I don't know, but I've got to love this animal as best I can, and I've got to give it some ice water, some cold, fresh water, and soft blanket, and bring him in the house. We never had him in the house before, and I brought him in the house and made him comfortable. And it was 4th of July. We had a party to go to, and we got home around midnight 30, and I went in, and Shadow had died.
Wow.
I know. It's so sad. I just know that Shadow knew he was loved at the end, being held by my kind and gentle husband, and loved and held by me, with fresh water and care. And so I said to Jeff at 12:30 at night, I need to bury the cat tonight. And he looked at me and said, tonight? And I said, I have to. I can't go to sleep. I've got to. And so I felt kind of like a serial killer out there,
In the middle of the night.
back by the woods, digging
Shovel.
this shallow grave with the lights of my buggy illuminating. I did too, Allison, prayed about it like you did today. I prayed and said, where should Shadow be? And I found the most perfect spot back by the entrance and threshold to the woods, and dug a hole and came up to get Jeff. And when I came up to get the cat, he had created the most beautiful, I called it, what did I call it? It's like a mummy, mummy. Anyway, he wrapped the cat in linen. It was the most beautiful package, almost. It was just so honoring of the cat. And we went back and buried the cat. And so I'm kind of left with the shadow. The loss of the cat, of course, we did everything we could, right? But also, Aaron knew the cat wouldn't be here, and it was here as a teacher for me. And then also, what is the lesson? So kind of been sitting with that. So it's been a hell of a week.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, what is coming up for me is, when we are present, it's kind of like, what are we prompted to do? Like, what is the next right move? And I don't know sometimes if we can even predict that. So for you, the next right move, it was like a series of next right moves, but like allowing it in the house, you know what I mean, and giving it water, but also burying the cat in the middle of the night.
With honor.
Ultimately, with honor and
respect.
knowing for whatever reason in your heart and spirit. And sometimes when we're tired, that can come through even stronger. Yeah. And it's even like just with the puppy this morning, like I was prompted to stop at one more house. I'm just, it's like following those. We were talking about an early episode of like just those urges, the prompts.
Intuition.
And listening to spirit.
Yeah. Well, I've been sitting with the cat, the spirit of the cat, and the idea of the cat, and the lesson of the cat, and so grateful for it, and not certain what it is, but I do know, in renovating this farm and doing everything that I have been doing, and with the injury of my neck and all of that, it's just been pretty hard on myself most recently around not enough, not doing enough. Now the farm is ready. How come we don't have 20 workshops happening? Just really being difficult with myself, and been so honored to. It is fawn season in June and July around here, and we've had 4 beautiful spotted fawns that we've had the privilege of almost seeing come out of the womb and into the world. And it's just so beautiful to be in relationship with the land here, and to say you don't have to be afraid. To the land, to mama, to the fawns, despite the fact that the big mower is coming, like sending them the juju of you don't have to be afraid. Never hurt you. I would never scare you. Kind of that vibe. Do you think they can feel that, Allison?
I do. Yeah, and like it's interesting because here we are, you guys. I mean, if you could just see this property, Where Michael and I live, we're like in a working class neighborhood and kind of house after house. Where we live, there's beautiful pine trees, but our neighbors are still relatively close. But I see so many deer. Really, I see deer every day. So there's something, we're both being visited by deer, but like I think there's a level of trustworthiness we're experiencing with these deer just to be so bold to be walking around in the neighborhood. But like they'll stand and give you eye contact for like a minute.
Yeah, and again, as meaning-making machines.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, I think, one of the tools I'll use is, the internet. Well, I'll just look up what is the spiritual significance of like the deer. And the one thing and then I just like, I'm like, does this resonate with me? Does this not resonate with me? But with deer, what really resonates is just the gentleness. And when I see it, because like Shawn, I think with these initiations, it can be hard to be gentle with myself because I'm used to being, what is it, Speedy Gonzalez? Like this, what is it called? The speed, in Georgia, what do they call it? Like super
super
speeders?
speeder.
Like,
She's
that's
criminal
how,
sitting
if you
across
know
from me.
me, that's how I historically have always operated. So it's easy if I'm having like a day where I'm not as energized, for me not to be gentle with myself. So I love that I keep seeing them because it's a reminder.
Yeah, I'm reminded of that too in the moment, and it's interesting what's happening in my brain. And I don't know if it's I've got this built-in forgetter. I don't know if you have a built-in forgetter out there, but I do. And it could be moments where I'm really being hard on myself around not whatever, and then I'll see the deer, and particularly these fawns, and it's like, Shawn, take a breath, be gentle. No, don't race to the barn and build the shelves right now. Take a breath.
Yeah.
Be gentle. And so these fawns have really, really been a gift to me. And those that have been here have also, it's been a gift to those that have been here because they've been watching them grow up. But as I said, it's been a hell of a week. So, for as stubborn as I am around gentleness in myself and as a meaning-making machine, I wonder why we saw what we saw last night when we were out for a walk. And what did that mean? Because, as I said, I see a deer and I'm reminded to be gentle, and then I forget. And then I'm not gentle. And then I see another deer an hour later and the same thing. And be gentle. And then I forget. And my husband and I are out on the golden hour at sunset walking around the perimeter of the property, and there's a beautiful fawn that's bounding through the tall grass, and we just are just so grateful to see it in the setting sun. And we walk about maybe 20 more steps, and there's a fawn curled up against the fence, and you can see its spots. It's so beautiful. And I said to Jeff, look, there's another one. I said, it's not going to move. I know it. And we walk up to it, and it had got itself caught in the fence, and it decapitated itself
So awful. It
with
is so
the
awful.
fence. It got its head caught in the square of the fence, and it's so strong. It was probably scared,
Yeah.
and just raised its head up so quickly that I think it just cut it. I mean, it was literally dangling from the
baby.
body. Yeah. Oh, I was taken back.
Oh my gosh.
Jeff, so glad that I was with Jeff in the moment. And, just this, what are we going to do about this first? How can we honor this deer? And there was a tree that had fallen most recently, and it was almost like the tree had opened up the earth to receive this fawn.
Yeah.
And we were able to wrestle the fawn from the fence, and I grabbed its top legs and he grabbed its bottom legs, and we put it in the earth that was opened up by the downed tree. And we continued to walk together and talk about it. And Jeff's not as introspective about those things, at least not verbally, as I am. And the whole time I'm thinking again, what does this mean? What does it mean? And does it have to mean anything? But I'm thinking about this gentleness and my inability to remain gentle. And I'm asking the land to show me and guide me. And I'm going to be gentle with myself around that it's not showing me from the loss of a fawn, but to allow that to at least remind me to, again, like you did, slow down, take a breath. And it was, of all things, the neck severed, with my neck injury.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
just really thinking about the beauty of gentleness that I've been witnessing in these fawns, and how scared the fawn must have been to get entangled in the fence like that. And to realize that I don't have to be that way, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I don't know about you guys out there, sometimes that's just the way I am on the inside. Life just keeps on lifing. And it's scary.
Don't you find, though, it's like when we really pay attention and we really tune into, is there a lesson here? What's the lesson? And we're listening and we're following through. It's almost like then it doesn't keep coming back. But if there's something I'm not getting because I'm running around, which, kind of is almost like the old me, it'll just keep coming back in different ways. And there's something about too, I think, like appreciation and gratitude is the antidote for a lot of things. And there was something about, like, earlier, just really appreciating this police officer of, like, a gentle, won't feel so gentle when I get the bill, like a reminder to keep me safe and to keep others safe. Yeah. So do you find that, though? Like, these lessons will keep showing up until we really listen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, it's all one big juicy experiment. And if we all knew how to do it, we'd all just be doing it. Having bought this farm and here, why am I here? What's going on? You're invited. Come, all of that. And yet still figuring out how to be here, out of the city, on this land, and listening. Last night, as the sun continued to set, Mama the doe came over by the Simple Life studio, and we locked eyes, and I stared at her and she stared at me, and I just started crying and telling her I was so sorry. I was so sorry for her loss. And, and my prayer today really was, how can I be there in support of her? And how can that death be a lesson, like you said, Allison, where it's one that's a lasting one, a lasting reminder of gentleness, with Mama who's lost her baby, with the doe that with the fawn that lost its life, and with myself, every day. We talked, I think, in a previous episode about Louise Hay and You Can Heal Your Life and Notes on the Mirror and all these things around being gentle. And it's so easy to forget, particularly in this climate where everything is salacious and horrible, and floods and immigration and politics and all this seeming stuff coming at us to keep us in fear. And here I am now on this land, and I want to be grounded and loving and safe and encouraging and here for those that want to come and be part of this. So it all ended. That's a heavy story, everybody. Thanks for being there with me through that story, and thanks for hearing it. And thanks for asking about it, Allison. The evening ended with a magic event.
But before you go to that magic event, I just have to say, continuing on with the deer, so interesting because, you've had all these really intense lessons, with Shadow and then with the deer. But as we were milling about for hours in the pool today before we started our podcast, I saw the mother deer, and she's looking for her baby. And it just reminded me of grief. So that's something like I'm just paying attention to because, as I've shared with all of you listeners, my beloved mom passed away at the end of January. And grief, man, I think that's a whole other episode because, gosh, there's so many different ways of being with it and faces and how it shows up. But I often find like all the answers are within nature. like,
We are nature.
Yeah, we are nature. It's right here. And so it's like we are witnessing this mother deer looking for her baby, and she's grieving.
Yeah, Jeff says it was anthropomorphizing. Is that the word?
Yeah, I think so.
Anthropomorphizing? Anyway, that means attaching human feelings to other animals. But I think, with the loss of a baby, it's a loss, and I don't care what kind of animal you are. I think
Yeah.
you're grieving.
Yeah.
And life keeps life, and so the fawn is gone, and Mama's looking, and I've got lessons, and Shadow's gone, and my Shadow's still here, and I'm still dancing with the lessons, and you're still heart is more open because of having met the dog, and the kind neighbors that wanted to help you, and the kind officer that
yes.
was patient with you around a Yankee not understanding us here Southerners. And anyway, so I keep asking, in spite of land and nature and God, please continue to speak so that I can hear it and know that from the core of my being that you're still speaking.
And also, it's like, how do we balance out the hard stuff? I don't know if any of you have experienced this. More than likely you have. You'll be in a sad situation, but then something's kind of funny, and it might actually make you belly laugh. It could be like laughing at a funeral. So,
Oh, that reminds me of Steel Magnolias with Sally Field. This is how old I am. But Sally Field in the cemetery. You don't remember that scene?
no, I don't.
Oh God, if you were
Remind
gay,
me.
you'd know it. And anyway, all you gay listeners out there, you know the scene I'm talking about. Sally Fields just says, I want to hit something. Her daughter died. I want to hit something. I want to hit something. And they put Weeza, the character who's the evil lady in the neighborhood. Here, hit her.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a belly laugh moment, and they all
Yeah.
laughed. So you're
Yeah.
you're absolutely right.
So which then just leads us into the story that you were trying to tell earlier
yeah,
about the knock on your window last night.
Yeah, I got a
Hello?
knock. Yeah, well, we have frogs in the house, and they bounce all over the place. Not a lot of frogs, but we have some frogs, and so sometimes they'll land on something and topple it over. And so I'm here in the front room, sitting and thinking that that's what happened, and because it was a pretty loud noise, and I only had the blind up about 12 inches, and I look over, and there's this big face. It's like dark out, y'all. It's dark out, and the light of the uplighting on the outside of the house has illuminated this alien-like face that's looking in the window, and I was like, "Holy crap! What is that?" And I realized it was a great blue heron.
And it was pecking at your window.
It was pecking at the window as I was sitting in reflection of what had happened that night. And I thought, am I losing my mind? Am I making this up? And I went outside, and if you go to my website, I'll post it on there, or maybe I'll give it to the production company here, and they can put it in there, whatever. But the most beautiful 4-foot tall great blue heron. And as a shamanic practitioner that I am, medicine of animals is very important to me. And the medicine of the heron is really about celebrating my individuality, about really celebrating who I am, and not being shy about bringing that forth as I sit here in front of a microphone, and asking everyone to do the same. It's, again, back to that Marianne Williamson poem around when I do that and I'm allowing myself to be fully me, like the heron is calling me to be. That gives you permission to do the same thing and be fully you. And so it's just one light giving another light permission. And that was the heron last night, giving me permission to accept everything that had happened in this week, this hard week, and just continue to move along because life keeps lifing.
Yeah, and it's also reminding me of the dog, right, in my heart opening, but I was just me. I invited the dog into the car. That's like who I am. And just giving love, and receiving love in that moment. But also, I'm an adventurer, so like knocking on neighbors' doors and asking for help. There was just something like that's just fully who I am. I love people. I love engaging with people. I love meeting new people. And I do feel like people, I know we're living in this negative time, but I do think people ultimately are good and they do want to help.
I do too.
And I was a witness to that today.
And guess what? life is lifing for them too. You know, you see these memes on these social medias that say, you know, be kind because you never know what's happening in someone else's life. And it's not just a meme. It's the truth. Someone's lost someone. Someone's cat died. Something is happening in someone's life. And being kind to one another and recognizing that we're all managing as best we can with what life is throwing at us. And over here, I'm trying to find meaning in it all.
Yeah.
And hopefully, in talking to you about what happened to me, because I didn't know if I wanted to talk about it or not.
Yeah.
But I hope that it has brought meaning to all of you who are listening. And I hope that it sparked in you the desire to think about things in your life with deeper meaning and ask, what am I being shown? And what can I learn from this? And please show me more. Because the human spirit is longing for meaning, purpose, connection, and nature, God, and each other, like Allison today, knocking on those doors, is saying, I want to connect. And they open their arms to you. They want to connect too.
Yeah, I was so struck by that because I was like, I don't know, like, is someone gonna greet me with a gun here? Like, I should be careful, but just something kept saying no, like ask.
Yeah, that's beautiful, really. So lots of lessons this week. Thank you for listening to my stories. Thank you for the lessons you're sharing, Allison, around the kindness of others, around the opening of your heart with that beautiful dog that you tried to dump on me.
Hell no.
And again, y'all, look for meaning in your life this week. Allison and I are so excited to invite you to the Magic of Listening workshop here at the farm.
Woohoo.
Yeah, September 19th, 20th, 21st. It's an auspicious time because it is fall equinox. That is a time of letting go, of stepping into this new you that you want. So come to the Magic of Listening. You can stay here at the farm. We have accommodations, both cabins and in the main homestead. There's also hotels nearby. If you've got hotel points, there's Hilton and Marriott. The primary thing is we want you here. It's $600 for the weekend, plus your accommodations. Lunch and dinner are always included in the weekend. If you stay here at the farm, then breakfast is included too, and you are in for a treat.
Also, let's just get real. I'm so excited to meet all of you because each time we do an episode, I really feel like we are sitting down with all of you having a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or a drink of water. And so I just think it would be absolutely fun and fabulous
To do it in real time.
Oh my gosh, and to sit side by side and to meet like-minded people really in this incredible space of intimacy and connectivity.
Okay, and that's here at the farm. That's Pinehurst, Georgia. That's central Georgia. That's just 2 hours south of Atlanta. There's actually a shuttle even from the airport that will carry you just 20 minutes from the farm. And once you get behind the gates, we'll close the gates and you won't go anywhere. You'll be snug as a bug in a rug here with us for the weekend. And it's limited availability, so book now, maximum 12 people. But if there's 13, we'll make room. So you're invited.
Absolutely.
Please join us.
Yes.
We'll see you in September.
Can't wait.
Thanks for listening to Conjuring the Human Spirit. You can connect with us and even make plans to work one-on-one with Shawn at McGuireLife.com and with Allison at viespritcoaching.com. That's VIEESPRIT coaching.com, or tap the links provided in the description of this episode. Until next time, remember, you're not alone.